eBay have changed their user agreement to add a clause banning off-site sales, and if you choose to carry on selling on eBay, you will be liable not only for final value fees for sales which are transacted off eBay, but also for the expenses for policy monitoring and enforcement. Of course, by this time your eBay account will already have selling restrictions or you'll have been suspended. If we believe you are violating the policy on offers to buy or sell outside of eBay, you may be subject to a range of actions, including limits on your buying and selling privileges, restrictions on listings and account features, suspension of your account, application of fees for the introduction of seller to buyer, and recovery of expenses for policy monitoring and enforcement until you are a seller and you offer or reference your contact information or ask for the buyer's contact information in the context of buying or selling outside of eBay. You will be liable for all final value fees in consideration for the introduction to a buyer for that item on the eBay site, even if the item does not sell. Addition to the eBay user agreement, we cannot emphasize enough that eBay are clamping down heavily on users who exchange contact details in eBay messages. It's been postulated that they're worried about losing fees on sales, and this is doubtless a consideration, but I'm not convinced that this is the main reason. It's all about eBay's reputation as a safe place to shop. If you go back a couple of decades, eBay had an image problem that you might not get what you paid for, and a few dodgy transactions gave eBay a terrible reputation. Remember the people that sold an iPhone box and the buyer thought they were buying an iPhone with only a tiny line buried in a description to tell them otherwise. Nowadays, with the majority of transactions paid for via PayPal and the eBay buyer guarantee, it's almost unheard of for a buyer to get ripped off one day. What is still all too familiar, however, are the stories in the press of buyers getting ripped off eBay. This reached a pinnacle with the recent ITV so-called documentary The eBay Scammers, which aired in August. Anyone watching the program could be forgiven for thinking that eBay is still a terribly dodgy place to shop, and that's not the message that eBay want given out. eBay are now in the tricky position of trying to police off-eBay fraud, and we've seen a number of measures to combat this, such as banning all active content across the site. It's a tough nut to crack, but it's vital that eBay do this, and that's why they are throwing so much weight behind their efforts to eradicate contact details being exchanged between buyers and sellers. If a scammer can't contact a buyer, then they can't send them a fake invoice, get them to pay through a fake escrow account, or sell them a non-existent car. If you're still unsure if eBay are serious about cracking down on contact details, then it's time to take note. Edit your listings or template and shop template if you have phone numbers, etc. there, and accept that you can only communicate with buyers through eBay messages unless eBay are kind enough to share your telephone number after the sale. The new user agreement can be found on eBay. For new accounts, it's valid immediately, and for existing accounts, it's effective from the 22nd of October. As always, if you don't want to agree to the new user agreement, eBay helpfully have a help page for you. They're linked, not mine.